We thank you for tuning in. The live stream will begin now.
I have His traveling mercy. Every day I'm thankful that I can use the restroom on my own. Now that don't seem important to somebody. If you ain't never seen nobody on dialysis or nobody on a colostomy bag, then you wouldn't understand what I'm saying. But I'm just glad to be able to, Brother Fred, put my own clothes on, bathe my own self. If you ain't never had to do that, then you don't know what it means. Sometimes you can just look at the person and see the embarrassment. You can see the shame, you know. Somebody else happened to bathe them and see certain parts of their body that they haven't seen before. There's a heat hitting this country right now. Over in other countries, the heat is 125 degrees. But I told you there would be a heat that would lap the water up. They sitting right now just in dread because the Colorado River, which millions of people drink that water, the levels are so low and the sun is so hot. But Lord said it would be a heat. Usually the sun be yellow or reddish color, but it's white. And that's awful bright. You can't even look at it, you know what I'm saying? And it's a dangerous thing, but we're just thankful to the Lord, you know what I'm saying? We're just really, really thankful to the Lord that God has given us just His amazing grace. And, you know, I found out that through the Word of God that no man can come to the Father except my Spirit draw him. No man can come to the Father except my Spirit draw him. And if God don't do it, then you can't come. Thank God for calling me. The Bible said, for whom He called, them He also justified. And whom He justified, them He also glorified. Now what more shall we say of these things? If God be for us, who can be against us? And I'm thankful to the Lord. I really am. I'm just truly, truly thankful to God for His goodness and His tender mercy. Say amen. His outstretched hands, and I'm glad. And those of you that are in the live stream, we want to welcome you to our Tuesday night worship and deliverance service. Now, we're going to take our time tonight, and then whichever way God goes, we got both pistols, we got my little 32, and we got my 45 back there. So we just believe in God, so whichever one we have to use, but we have to get wisdom. You know, the Bible said wisdom is going to be the stability of times. And see, what people don't know, the wisdom and the knowledge is going to be the stability of the time. A lot of people are not stable because they don't have the wisdom. They don't have the knowledge. And we had a real, real crazy hour. I was setting up getting dressed this afternoon. And the word, the time will come that they will not endure sound doctrine. Complete doctrine. Now, and it dawned on me what it really meant. It means that the time is going to come that they're not going to be able to take it. To endure means to take it until the end. Now watch. Now pay attention. Now this is what happens. The further you get into the word, the more you got to die. The Bible said, we mortify the deeds of the flesh by the Spirit. We kill them out by the Spirit. Now the words that I speak unto you, they are spirit and they are life. The letter killeth, but the Spirit giveth life, right? So that means that I'm dead because of sin. My body's dead because of sin, but alive because of the Spirit of life, right? Which is in Christ Jesus, right? So that means there's people that don't want to go no further. And so what happens is they can't endure it no more. They can't take it no more. And then deal with the world, deal with society. Because, see, society is becoming more sinful. Evil men and seducers are waxing worse. And so what that's doing is making it more difficult for a man or woman to let go of the flesh. They feel they have to stay in the flesh to be able to cope with what they're dealing with. And not knowing that the total victory is in the Spirit. That's where the domination is in the Spirit. When God gave Adam, the Bible said, excuse me, that God said, let us make man in our own image. And in the image of God, maybe him in our image and our likeness. And God gave him dominion. That's where the dominion was in God, in the spirit realm. Long as Adam stayed in that word, he walked in dominion. But he said, now when you eat of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, in that day you eat of it, you're going to surely die. Y'all listen to me? So when you get out of the spirit realm and get into the flesh, you're going to die. You're going to die, because what that's going to do is going to take you out of position. It's going to take you out of the original man. The original man was made in the image and likeness of God. God don't answer to nobody. And he stepped back and said, let them have dominion. In other words, two kings can't sit on the same throne. I'll step back and let you become the God of this world. So he had dominion over everything. Demons, whatever angel was here, he had total domain. But he said, of every tree of the garden thou mayest freely eat, but of the tree of the knowledge. In other words, don't fool with that knowledge. Don't fool with the knowledge of good and evil, because here's what happens. There's a knowledge. Now watch. Paul said, I know that there's no good thing that dwells within me, that is within my what? Now, the opposite of good is what? So if there's no good thing that dwells within me, then I'm 100% what? All right? So the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, people don't understand it. When you look at the works of the flesh, they're 100% evil, right? So the knowledge of good and evil was the knowledge of spirit and humanism mixed together. And see, this is what we have today, and that's why it's so difficult to reach people, because people are trying to keep the knowledge of humanism. And you have to use common sense with this. You have to watch with that and use that. And so if they're mixing it, and when you do it, what it does, it separates you from God. So that's why we start walking in these different realms and different anointings and different places in God where we feel like we can live a certain way. You understand what I mean? But further you go into God, more of you die. The more of you die. The more of your personality, the more of your attitude, the more of your characteristics die. And you take on the very image and the likeness of God. You understand? We're on a journey. The Bible said he came to his own, and his own received him not, but to as many as received him, to them gave he power to become the sons of God. So we're on a journey. The world is not waiting for membership. They're not waiting for Christians. They're waiting on the manifestation of the sons of God. Now, here's the sons of God, and this is where so many people die in the process, or die in the testing, or die in the making. It's sad that they don't even get the job, but you die in training. You understand what I'm saying? We get killed in training. All right? Now pay attention. All right? So now Bible said he gave us power to become the sons of God, right? Y'all listening to me? Gave us power to become. That's a gradual thing, right? Then Paul turned right back around and said, he said, we know not what we ought to pray for as we ought, but the Spirit itself maketh intercession for us with groanings which cannot be uttered. Y'all listen, wait for me. He said, the Spirit of God, we know not what we ought to pray for as we ought, but the Spirit itself maketh intercession for us with groanings which cannot be uttered. Y'all paying attention? Pay attention to me, because like I tell you, I'm going to keep preaching this word. It don't make no difference how you feel, God don't change. God don't change. And that's why you can't find loyalty, because people are trying to be themselves instead of trying to be God. See, you can't even trust your own self. You can't even trust your own self. But the Bible said, cursed is the man that trusts in man and make flesh his own. So you'll curse your own self trying to trust in yourself. You don't know what to do, where to go, what about nothing. You're a brute beast. And so when you get in that flesh, you understand flesh think it knows something. That's why God got to keep breaking you down and humiliating you to show you that you don't know nothing. Now the Bible said he came to his own, and his own received him not, but to as many as received him, to them gave he power to become the sons of God. And you got to listen. This knowledge that I'm preaching right now, this ain't no joke. You're going to have this. If you don't have this, you're not going to survive. You're not going to make it. You forget that. And then he turns right back around and said, we know not what we ought to pray for as we ought, but the Spirit itself maketh intercession for us with groanings, Romans 8, with groanings which cannot be uttered. And then he turned around and said, it makes intercession for us according to the will of God, right? Right? Then he turns around and said, that and this we know, watch now, that all things are working together for the good to them that love God. And we don't really understand that. We don't really believe that. That's why we get bitter. That's why we get unforgiving. That's why we get resentful. That's why we get vindictive, because you don't really know the plan of God. Now watch. He gave you power to become the sons of God. Then he said, the Bible said, all things are working together for the good to them that love God and to them who are the called according to his purpose, for whom he foreknew, them he also predestinated. Now, predestination, I break it down all the time. Destination is the end of your journey. to predestinate it, and that means I already know what's going to happen from the end to the beginning. Everything in your life is already mapped out. Every heartbreak, every heartache, every blooper, every plunder, every pitfall, every sickness, every disease, every death, every divorce, whatever happens in your life, you understand, the good, the bad, the ugly, is already predestinated. What is predestinated for? All things are working together for the good to them that love God and to them who are the called according to his purpose. Now, the average person never get to fulfill God's purpose because they never get to finish the journey. Never get to fulfill the purpose of God because they never fulfill the journey. The Bible says these words, all things are working together for the good to them that love God and to them who are the called according to his purpose. Now watch. For whom he foreknew, then he also predestinated. Now, the purpose of your predestination, the purpose of everything you've ever gone through, every trial, every heartache, every pain or anguish or whatever you've gone through, is to conform you into the image of his son. So you're on this journey going forward. But what happens is the average person becoming more like Jesus. I mean, think about it. Do you love everybody? Can you forget? Are you forgiving everybody? Are you long-suffering? Are you patient? Are you merciful? Are you willing to lay your life down that others may live? Are you willing to give your life? Are you willing to suffer that other folks can be glorified? Are you willing to take the pain that other folks can have gain? Are you willing to go through your cross so other folk can have a crown? Are you willing to see other folks blessed? That love that thinketh not on the things of itself but the things of others? Do you have that kind of attitude? We don't have that attitude. We're so selfish, and so that's a part of it, right? That's a part of this word. The further we get into it, it's going to eliminate the selfishness. It's going to eliminate the me, myself, and I. See, we got selfishness and don't even know it. See, a lot of us are selfish and don't even know it. We think because we give a few folk a few dollars or we do something like that, we think we really, you understand what I mean, are in tune. But that don't mean nothing. You got philanthropists, they got a name. They got philanthropists, they give millions of dollars away. But does that mean that they're in tune with God? That don't mean nothing. Money is, and stuff like that is the lowest thing you could ever give somebody. What people really need is life. But see, in order to give somebody life, you have to give up a life. And see, that's what's wrong with people. That's what's wrong with people. People don't, they don't want to give up a life. In order for you to give life, you have to give up a life. Are you willing to give up a life? Greater love hath no man than this, that a man lay down his life for his friend. But we're not like Jesus. We can't take nothing. We can't suffer the wrong. We can't give place to wrath. Can you hold your peace that other folks don't be affected? Can you bear your burden? Now the scripture tells us that we're to bear one another's burdens. We're to be helpers one of another. Have you gotten to that point? Or is it just me, myself, and I? Ain't nobody did what you done for me lately. So it's a process, and it's taking us into the life of Christ. But the average person goes so far and they give up. They can't endure. They can't endure that word. That word gonna kill you. The further you go into that word, you're gonna die. Your anger, your frustration. See, when you get to the point when you realize and get that attitude that everything is happening to me for the purpose. Now, anger is a human attribute, right? But he said, be angry, but quick to get rid of it, right? Because when you go into anger, anger goes straight into blackness. A person that get angry goes straight into blackness, right? That anger, we associate anger with they made me. We associate anger with they made me. They made me mad, right? Now think of a mad person. Think of a mad person. If you look up the word mad or madness in the dictionary or wherever, it means insanity. You done lost your mind. At that particular moment, you lose your mind. You're not thinking about the future. You're not thinking about nobody else's life. It becomes a total self. It says anger is a very selfish attitude, and you have to catch it. You can't let the sun go down upon your wrath. You have to get rid of it as quick as you can, because it'll make you make some spontaneous decisions that you can't retrieve them. You can't take them back. And so this is things that God is doing for you. Do you really understand that everything that is happening to you, I was telling somebody that yesterday, I was telling them, I said, it's just like people got to understand it. I don't care how much you exercise. I don't care how much power drinks you drink and how much healthy food you eat. It don't mean nothing if you don't think right. You have to understand, you can eat all the food, but if you don't think right, you'll kill yourself. You understand? How many healthy folks that had strokes? And when they went to the doctor, all of their vital organs were perfect. How many healthy folks that had heart attacks? How many healthy folks that had nervous breakdowns? Because it ain't the way you eat, it's the way you think. See, somebody say you are what you eat and all, but you are what you think. As a man thinketh in his heart, so is what? All right? So if your thoughts are not right, if your thoughts are not proper, then you can go into a thing that ain't no cure for it, but the true understanding of God, and it's called stress. See, when you get to the point where you can't let stuff go, you can't forgive people, you can't turn loose yesterday, all of that stuff is a buildup, and what that does is causes stress. Every one of us in here have a capability. We have a capacity, just like those light bulbs, 75 watts, just like those speakers, 600 watts. Those chairs, before they send them out of the factory, they put them up under pressure to see if they can take 400 pounds. Everything has a capacity. That's why God don't give everybody the same thing, because everybody has a capacity level. He gives to everybody according to their what? Their several ability. You understand what I mean? There's a breaking point. There's a breaking point. Do you understand what I'm saying? There's a breaking point. And so you can get stuff on your mind and holding stuff and don't know the stuff you're holding is a God-given thing. You listen, let me break this reality down to you. I'm going to the word, but I want you to listen to me, because you look at Brother McCoy and you understand, you don't know the pressure, the pain, and the stuff, all of the stuff I have to carry. Sometimes I have to carry other folks' mistakes because they don't want to take ownership. You understand what I mean? They don't want to take ownership, so I have to carry the load. I have to carry the burden on my shoulder, right? You see what I'm saying? Not just talking about my personal things and stuff, but I have to carry loads and carry burdens because folk don't want to be, they don't want to be responsible. You got what I'm saying? And then all of the different stuff that happens, right? You understand what I mean? The expectations, right? But how in the world can this man keep an attitude? How can this man come and every night, and been just moving and just have one night to rest? But he comes to us and he's given us life. How can he keep giving us life with all of the things that's happening to him? It's understanding. Get wisdom, but all thy getting, get a what? When you get an understanding, when you get that experience, tribulation working patience experience, right? There's experience that I have. I have an experience that, number one, in the beginning, God, not in the beginning, God and the devil, not in the beginning, God and my wife, not in the beginning, God and the co-workers, not in the beginning, God and messed up church folk, not in the beginning, God, right? Now, in the beginning was the Word was with God, and the Word was God. The same was in the beginning with God. All things are made by him. Everything, every circumstance, every trial, every tribulation, every heart, it's all by God. Don't nothing happen without God. In him we live, we move, we have our what? It's a God thing. It ain't a devil thing. You understand? When you catch the revelation that it's a God thing. And then the purpose of it, when Adam messed up, then God made a way. So we're coming back to the original man, right? So we have to go on this journey. But in order to be able to get back to the original man, we have to go through certain trials. Through much tribulation shall we enter into the kingdom, into that domain, in that realm where the king has dominion. See, Adam was a king. But see, but God didn't make us princes. He made the devil a prince, but he made us priests and kings. That's why he's the Lord of Lords and the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords. You understand? I'm not no prince. I'm a king. I'm a born king. I am a born king. But in order for you to come into kingship, you have to be trained. The Bible said in the book of Galatians chapter 4, a child differeth nothing from a servant, from a slave. An heir differeth nothing from a slave as long as he's a child.